I think that giving the Big 12 and the ACC multiple automatic berths into the playoff is a bad idea. Even if it's one fewer than the SEC, the leagues are not anywhere remotely close to the same. They're not anywhere close. The SEC should get 3 times more than that of the Big 12 on an annual basis if you're actually measuring the leagues based on quality of teams on an annual basis. The reason that the NFL does an automatic qualifier for every division to get one team is because the NFL itself, the whole NFL is the product. And that keeps not every team, but almost every team engaged up until the final week. That's why they do that. It's strictly for money. But the divisions in the NFL are generally created equal. You have some that are better than others, but you saw what Tampa did in the playoffs this year. Like they're all really balanced, so that makes sense. The SEC and the ACC are so totally different when it comes to the quality of the leagues. So I think it's a bad idea from that perspective. But everybody's missing the point, I think. And Heather Dinich just kind of put this as a one-off in her article about this. This is the biggest part of the story, and nobody's talking about it. Everybody's bickering about, well, it should be 12. It should be 8. Barrett Sallee's like, let's go back to the BCS where undefeated Auburn doesn't make the championship game.
Stop.
You've got all of that stuff. But as just a one-off in ESPN, and this has been written by others now at this point, but she says, quote, the SEC and Big Ten are having conversations about whether to continue their NCAA membership. All of this stuff about automatic bids and flexing muscle, call me crazy. It's posturing. This is not serious. Because they're going to blow it up anyway when they leave the NCAA in the near future. They're doing this to flex their muscle, to show everybody who they are. They're posturing, and then they're going to bolt from the NCAA and create their own thing 2 years from now anyway. And she just writes this as a one-off. It's been hinted at for years, but this is the premier college football playoff reporter on the worldwide leader in sports, straight up saying the SEC and the Big Ten are in discussions to leave the NCAA. That's the story here.
Hey, Dad, do you want to see that happen?
I'm sorry for dead silence, but I actually really need to think on that.
That's fine. Dead air's fine.
No. I would tell you because I'm just an old man and I'm crotchety and stuck in my ways, that I think we've gone too far with the expansion. I mean, I hate losing the Pac-12. There was enough money going around. It didn't have to be this way. Somebody has to be less in almost everything, right? The SEC and the Big Ten are the best 2 conferences. You can't get their money, Pac-12. So, if you can get $25 million, that you can live on $25 million. Nobody's going to go out of business on that. So, no, I don't like it. I don't like that idea. I like college football to be kind of the way it is now.
I won't quit it. I mean, if that's what we've got 2 years from now, 3 years from now.
Oh, I won't quit it.
I'll be there.
Be on here.
We'll be there. So, in terms of the negotiation, Borky, you said a second ago, flexing their muscle, posturing, and maybe that's right. Is this like a bird in hand versus bird in bush deal for the SEC and the Big Ten? We can guarantee ourselves 3 teams. Guaranteed. There's a chance for more, but we are guaranteed 3. In this story at ESPN.com, sources told ESPN that discussions have centered around the SEC and Big Ten earning somewhere between 25 and 30% of the college football playoff revenue. The ACC and Big 12 would be next. They'd be somewhere in the 15 to 20% range, which leaves a smaller chunk somewhere around 6 to 10% for the other leagues and nearly 1% for Notre Dame. So they are guaranteeing themselves revenue. Why not negotiate a deal where you guarantee the revenue, but then you leave the teams to chance? If 14 is the number, what if we just go with 5 automatics? Every conference gets one, a group of 5 gets one, whatever they are now. And now we've got 9 at-large spots. Because in that scenario, Borky, you've got with the exception of the group of 5 teams some seasons, you got the 14 best teams in the college football playoff.
Yeah. Much more easy to digest, for sure. I just don't think, frankly, I don't think we're going to see the day. I think we've got 2 years of the 12-team playoff, and by the time that ends, whatever they agree to in the present will not matter because they're going to blow it up, and everything gets to be renegotiated at that time.
What's the purpose of blowing it up at this point?
Self-governance.
But the NCAA has already said, yeah, you can have that. Why not just self-govern within the existing NCAA model? Well, stack the deck against everybody else, which is what they're going to have the power to do. Stick with the college football playoff.
Here's the benefit. So the NCAA's current model, you cannot have rules. That's what a court in Tennessee just said. You cannot have rules. If you want to restrict player pay, sorry. If you want to restrict transfer portal, sorry, can't do it. So what a breakaway can do is avoid antitrust issues and allow you to separate football, and if you want to, men's basketball, from the rest of the sports, treat them like employees, like they want, and have rules that you can actually enforce. Limit transfers, caps, whatever the case may be. Because the American justice system has said the NCAA cannot enforce its rules anymore. Can't do it. You cannot have rules. You cannot enforce them.
And that's not an exaggeration. That's what the court ruling in Tennessee said last week. They may appeal it up the ladder. I think the NCAA is tired of appealing because every time they go before the Supreme Court, they lose.
They lose. So maybe that's really the crux of this.
But quite literally, the judge's ruling in Tennessee this past week said, you are not allowed to enforce your own rules.
Yep.
Which means there are no rules and you can kind of do whatever you want to do. It's kind of sad, honestly.
It is.
College athletics has been really cool for a really long time. We'll be back, right?